Chance for Donjanu to go 2 for 2 at home, and he does.
And he's flying.
And now he'll celebrate. And it's going to be Sandra Velzebor.
And all the while, it is an orange blur on the front. Sandra Velzebor does it again. The exclamation mark in for the Canadian Ice Maples. And it will be the Ice Maples starting off with a gold medal. Welcome to the Capital Indoor Stadium from Beijing, China, site of the third stop on the ISU Short Track World Tour. The World Tour session is coming up this afternoon, but first we go through the first day of repechage action. These, of course, were set up in the qualifiers yesterday. Skaters trying to get that second chance to advance to the World Tour session and race for the medals, ideally. My name is Gavin Day. Hi, everybody. Alongside me, former U.S. national team member and two-time 2010 Olympic Winter Games medalist. That's a mouthful. Catherine Reuter-Adamek. How are you feeling today, Catherine? Ready to go?
I'm ready to go. It's been a beautiful morning here in Beijing. Teams are ready. Coaches are excited to see their athletes skate.
There is the schedule for this morning session. 1,500 meters for the men, 1,000 meters for the women, and then the 500-meter repechage for the men, all ending with the mixed team relay semifinals. So a bit of everything on the morning session. It's a bit chilly, very clear sunny day though, Catherine. A bit chilly outside, it's a little warmer in here though.
It's a surprisingly warm rink in here, and it is cooler down at ice level, but that's something that the Chinese Skating Association does so well. Their venues are very comfortable for fans, and their ice conditions are fantastic for athletes.
You've talked quite a bit about the crowds that you've gotten in Beijing from your skating days. We're expecting quite the atmospheres this weekend once we get into the medal races, but it's a healthy crowd, I'll say. They are a little bit boisterous. You'll hear them when the Chinese lung skaters particularly take the ice. And the first thing, if you saw that schedule, it is the men's 1,500-meter repechage quarterfinals. And the first and second place skaters from each race, there are 6 of them, and up to 2 fastest third place skaters qualify for the repechage semifinals. And it's really a quick turnaround. These guys will do a 1,500, they'll do the women's 1,000 meters, there'll be a quick ice resurface, and then again, that's one thing we talked about with in Montreal, is that the new format, there's not a ton of rest involved.
There's not a ton of rest. There is a minimum requirement of 20 minutes between races, but I will tell you, to get your skates off, get your equipment checked, find your new opponents, set your strategy, and then get ready again. It's difficult to do that in 20 minutes, so it's really challenging our athletes mentally to be sharp and focused, but also physically to maintain their energy under challenging conditions.
And there is the start list for heat number 1, Mohamed Bozdag of the Turkish Anatolian Pars. The first lung of the day in their new red, yellow, and black kit. Zhu Yiding, Theo Collins of the British Royals, Timofey Kokelko of the Ukrainian Wildcats, Frey Van Dam of the Belgian Ice Bears, Ben Jung of the German Wolves, and Gleb Ivchenko for the Kazakh Nomads. There is the home favorite right there, Zhu Yiding, ranked 50th in the world, and so yeah, it is the 1,500-meter repechage. They do a semifinal, and that's just to get into the medal races. So it could be a long day for the guys who get into the races, although I believe there was a medalist, maybe not in the 1500s, from Montreal who did the repechage, got all the way to the final, and ended up on the podium. So it is possible.
It's possible, and that's why they put the repechage into these rounds of races, because sometimes the best athlete will fall randomly in a heat or a preliminary. They deserve to have that chance to bounce back.
Go to the start. Ready.
particularly when you're trying to develop an international talent pool. The more races you can get skaters from countries that might just be getting going with an international program, the more races you get, the better.
Absolutely. So it's twofold. So you get this opportunity, just in case you're a high performer that has a bad day, you get the opportunity to bounce back. And then just in case you're a developing athlete who doesn't get to race quarters, semis, and finals of all the events, you get these racing opportunities. You know, teams are coming across the world, spending weeks here at a time. It's a shame to come that far and not get the opportunity to skate.
Case in point, still a junior age skater for the Belgian Ice Bears, made his international senior debut for the Ice Bears in Montreal. He's seen some relay action. Here he is skating for himself now in the repechage, and invaluable lessons, I have no doubt, for that young man.
Certainly, and here's what you learn. You learn how to move in a pack, because when you're practicing, there's no pressure. But here, everyone's out for themselves, everyone's trying to win, and it's a different type of intensity when you're in an international competition than you can get at home.
In front, not the swiftest of races, but of course when there are only at most 2 possible fastest third place times, it's really skating for the positions. And as we saw yesterday, very clean racing for the most part. A lot of those places that were on time did go to those skaters.
Absolutely, and we will see more chaos in the races today, because as we progress through the rounds, we're putting higher and higher ranked athletes together. The pack will stay closer together during races. There'll be a lot more jockeying for position. We may see some more penalties today, potentially even more advancements.
Side 4 to go. It is Zhu in front, Jung on him. Now things really start to pick up. Bosdag into second. Theo Collins of the Royals watching him.
Not only Bosdag, but the entire Anatolian Pars team from Turkey having a really much needed success over the last Olympic cycle, really coming out of nowhere as a developing country to create a short track program.
And it is Collins jumping up into second. It's Zhu in the lead right now. Here comes Ivchenko. The curse of the commentator strikes, and the Anatolian Pars skater Bosdag slips down to fourth, but it's Zhu and Collins, the man from Guildford, southwest of London, who jumped up to take second place. Didn't see any reviews being done, so we open with a clean race.
And you can tell, actually here, let's look at our replay. So everyone's looking really smooth this morning. We have a 10 a.m. start. That's a little later than yesterday. Athletes have been here for about a week, which is not enough to get ready for the time change. But you can see athletes finally starting to get a little loose, a little comfortable. Zhu Yiding keeping his hands on his back, easy passing, little contact there, but no change in outcome of the race.
Zhu wants to jump to the front. That was all she wrote. They still have it listed as a photo finish, but now they have it confirmed. Zhu Yiding by, let's just say it's 17/100ths of a second. And Ivchenko 2:22.081. We'll see if that time holds up. Speaking of skaters getting the second chance, the real headliner of heat number 2 is Brendan Corey, who I'm sure is a little bumped and bruised this morning. As we quick look at the photo finish there, that right there is 17/100ths of a second. That's the difference. And you'll get those results. I was talking about Brendan Corey, a couple of Austrian skaters, Tobias Wolf, Nico Enderman, Łukasz Kuczynski of the Polish Hussars, Yaroslav Morozov of the Wildcats, Wara Van Dam of the Ice Bears, and Joshua Ka of the New Zealand Ice Kias. But yeah, talking about Corey, he a couple times in the boards yesterday. This is his preferred event, and bumped and bruised, I'm sure, but he's on the line.
On the line, getting that opportunity to make that comeback, so to speak. And this is where the mental game comes in. This is an athlete who probably could have made it through on the first day, but didn't. Like you said, a couple of falls. Not only is he mentally a little bruised, but his body's banged up as well.
Ready.
Such is the nature of this sport that here we are in a repechage quarterfinal, and it's the World Championship bronze medalist in the race. He did make one of the finals in this distance in Montreal, so he wants to prove this season that it was a sign of what is to come from this young man, a sign of what is to come from this Australian Racing Rules program as well. One of those building programs, and certainly international medals helps with that.
And he's doing a great job, Brendan Corey, hopping right up to the front, saying, I don't want to get wrapped up in any drama, just want to race my race. And ideally, you know, if he's feeling mentally tough this morning, he's got his blinders on. He's thinking to himself, hey, I'm the best one out here. I just need to race like I know that I can. Without, what tends to happen is those insecurities, those doubts, like, what if I'm not as good as I thought? What if Montreal was just a fluke? What if it's World Championships? What if I'm not that good again? And you can let those negative self-talk little mantras really own your headspace if you're not an advanced athlete with blinders on the side.
Laura Van Dam, the elder of the Van Dam family, on the front. Still waiting for that other shoe to drop. Again, looks like all these skaters are not even thinking about that time, that third place.
No, and see, if I were in Team Austria, you see two, oh, now they're split. If I was in Team Austria, I'd be trying to get both of my athletes up to top 2 as soon as possible. Brendan Corey back in the lead again, saying, hey, I'm confident and I know I can succeed.
Łukasz Kaczynski of the Hussars, he does have a fair amount of sprint power, so the longer this race goes, the more to his benefit and allow him to just explode away when the time comes. Inside 4 to go.
Kaczynski being really smart, staying in second, not wasting any energy, but he does need to close that gap or risk a pass.
It is the young Austrian skater, Tobias Wolf, who jumped up there. Of the 2 Austrian skaters, he is the lower ranked of the 2, and now Corey just starts to pull away. The Austrian pair now belatedly get into second and third, but Corey is off and away, and Wolf will join him. I don't think anything's being reviewed. Very smooth in the end for Corey, just to build a bit from yesterday. A nice shake of the hand by the 2 there.
And we talked yesterday a little bit about how leading can take about 10% more energy than following, but receiving or giving a bump can take about 30% more energy than just resting in the back of the pack. So right here, Polish skater coming in without a bump. That was a really nice move. Brendan Corey taking advantage of the slow speed to take the lead back.
So that heat was faster than the first one. Anderman has a 2:18.770. If you're wondering what a hussar is, it is a kind of cavalry that Polish forces obviously used once upon a time, but yeah, that part of the world, that's what a hussar is.
I was wondering what a hussar was. Thank you.
And as an aside, one of the Canadian regiments that landed on D-Day in Normandy in northern France, they were the what part of the country they're from? Anyway, they were the 1st Regiment Hussars. They just had that name that they were from. So it's a military term.
You know what I think is my favorite thing about the team branding, though, is how it reflects each nation's culture and their history. And I'll let us move on now to our next start list.
Speak of the devil, the Irish Wolfhound is one that I'm quite partial to. It is a big friendly dog, but you don't worry about the friendly part. You just want to be the big dog here. In this heat, Marcus Howard, the USA Eagles, Nathan Thomas, another Hussar. Now Tracy, the Royals, Asim Gurov of the Bulgarian Kings, Liam O'Brien of the aforementioned Wolfhounds, Ivan Martinic of the, another dog, Croatian Dalmatians, and Hayashi Kosei of the Japanese Ninjas.
Go to the start. Ready.
Another interesting heat here. Niall Tracy, ranked 7th in the world. I believe he was the one who was in an A final in this in Montreal, and another one who didn't get that first opportunity, but here he is back for redemption in the Repechage quarterfinals.
That's right, and I think that type of results is indicative of the new World Tour racing format. So for at least 10 years, up until this season, up to 6 athletes from each team have been allowed to race. What they've done is split the field, and the reason for that was to create more development opportunities. The downside was that the best of the best never went head-to-head until World Championships. Now we're in the season before an Olympic year. We want to see that competitive nature start to increase in the sport. They've changed the World Tour formatting, so it's World Championship formatting. Only 3 athletes from each team race, which means everybody is in every race, and it's harder. It's harder to make it out of that first day, harder to make your A finals. Less focus on development, more focus on high performance.
Big time going on the show. That's why you and I are here, I think, enjoying this in person, trying to pass along that excitement. It is Marcus Howard on the front. Of course, also under the old World Cup format, there would be one individual that would be doubled up, and so some people would take one and not the other, and that would split it up in a little bit. But now we're getting so many fantastic races every weekend.
That's right, and it's a good point, because the old format would allow athletes to specialize, and now you're forced to be an all-arounder. Everything from the 5 to the 15, you have to be a great racer at.
If you want that crystal globe, you've got to do it all. And Niall Tracy all the way around to the front. That is where he excelled back in Montreal. He was very confident. There were a lot of battles of skaters trying to get to the front, and that's where he is right now. Marcus Howard marking him. Liam O'Brien, the Wolfhound's also right there.
And you can see some jostling in the back of the pack. Remember, that takes energy. Every time you have to speed up and slow down, just like Marcus Howard did, that takes energy.
Now it's all reshuffled now. I missed Hayashi Kosei of the Ninjas. There is a review going on there as we were talking. He's now standing in the middle of the ice. Anyway, it is Nathan Thomas on the front. Liam O'Brien under pressure for second. Marcus Howard of the Eagles is off the back, but it is Nathan Thomas at the moment. Niall Tracy closing the gap. I don't know if he'll try to make a move. Liam O'Brien trying to get that time. And it is a nice race win for Nathan Thomas ahead of Niall Tracy.
A lot more jostling in that race than I would have expected. The 1500 is typically more of a conservative race. You don't see a lot of movement until about 7 to go. But that does speak to the depth of the field here today. Again, after yesterday, we saw some space in every pack. Today, everyone will be much closer together.
And as you mentioned earlier, that hopefully makes some more opportunities for incidents. Reviews will be necessary. The officials had a relatively quiet day yesterday, but today, as always, we expect things to really start to hot up for them.
A late pass here by Marcus Howard. I'd love to see a stronger setup. That, I think, will be reviewed because that is affecting the outcome of the race. You know, when you're a developing athlete, you have to try those things. You have to take a chance, but it doesn't always go your way.
In the end, Niall Tracy did recover to get into second place. Yeah, and that is what is being reviewed. A possible failure to give way is what is being looked at. But in the end, since Niall Tracy did recover to finish second, we'll see if they take any other measures. But yeah, the next heat's already out on the ice. That was the slowest one we've seen so far.
Athletes going into what's called the heat box. So every ice rink will set aside a warm-up and a cool-down area, but also a skates-on and skates-off area. This is something we see oftentimes in the Olympics, and camera crews will hang out in that space just to see, hey, how are you handling those nerves leading into a race? How are you handling your response to your results after your race?
There, the results, nothing getting looked at. Coach Hayashi just listed as a DNF. I completely missed that in the beginning. He was standing in the middle of the ice for some time. Thomas and Tracy through. O'Brien, that third place time will not be good enough. There's heat number 4. Mattia Antonioli, our first look at a Italian gladiator, as well as a Latvian Golden Star and a Norwegian Viking. Mattia Antonioli, Maris Janis Sternmanis, Mika Klevstuen, Mikael Nivinsky, Sean McAnuff, Zdenek Sapal of the Ice Spiders, and Chalanchar Tapram of the Thai Elephants, pardon me.
Go to the start. Ready.
Always wondering to see, the longer these races go clean, at what point will they really start to get the bit between the teeth up certain. Looks like everybody's trying to push it a little bit, but Nivinsky, the real sprint specialist, saying, let's maybe slow things down a bit, guys.
Yes, but even just a little effort in the beginning of the race can help the end time, because if you think about it, at the end, everyone's sprinting. Everyone's going to be finishing within a couple tenths of each other in every race. But the beginning is really where you make up that time and try for that fastest third. So I do anticipate this will be one of our faster heats of the morning.
They are already pretty strung out. Tapram making the jump up into second with a nice move on the inside. It is Mika Klevstuen on the front. I watch for Nivinsky. Sitting in 4th right now.
But Stewin doing a good job. He's controlling the pace, but it's slow. He needs to pick it up. He's about to be overtaken.
Here comes Antonioli around the outside. Sepal joining him. Stewin now relegated to 3rd, but yeah, it certainly feels quicker.
And right now is the time. Typically, as soon as an athlete will finish a pass, the first thing you want to do is pump the brakes a bit. And if you're smart, you're in the back, you're ready to respond as soon as that happens.
Manis, one of the new Latvian Golden Stars in this weekend. In Montreal, they only had the 2 men entered. Now they had a full relay team yesterday. And competitor on the women's side as well.
Antonioli starting to pick up that pace. We're all the way down into the 9 threes.
Antonioli, they're queuing up behind him. Sepal now. Nowinski takes a look, trying to get around the outside. Sepal on the inside, and Nowinski all the way around to the front. No, Sepal goes down. That will be reviewed. Almost both going around Antonioli on both sides. Sepal up on his feet at the bell. It is still Nowinski in front. Antonioli in 2nd. Mika Stewin skating a good race in 3rd. And it is Nowinski, Antonioli, and Stewin down around 2:19. So it is maybe the 2nd fastest heat we've seen so far.
Fastest. Oh, is it? I'll have to go back.
Oh, Miss Note Taker.
I do. I take notes.
Score 1 for the guy using the computer. Anyway, they had 2:18.
You're right. You are right.
It's the only win I'll have today. And so, yeah, that incident, it is Nowinski and Sepal. This is the look. One going on the outside, one going on the inside. They both get around Antonioli, and then
and the ice just breaks out. But I'll tell you what, you do not have to touch someone to apply pressure. So just imagine if you're waiting in line and someone gives you 3 or 4 feet, you're comfortable. If you're waiting in line and someone's within 6 inches of your personal space, you're uncomfortable, you're stiff. Now imagine that same sense of discomfort as you're going top speed around the apex of the corner. It doesn't need contact to mess a skater up. That being said, an official will not typically call a penalty without contact. And
so, yeah, there is no penalty. Michał Nowinski wins the heat. Mattia Antonioli 2nd, and Mika Stewin 2:19.631. That is now the bubble time. And now with 2 heats to go, if people are going for 3rd, they know what they should go for. Next heat has Furkan Akar of the Turkish Anatolian Pars, Peter Murphy of Luxembourg, Lucas McDonald of the Ice Kias of New Zealand, Clayton Di Clemente of the USA Eagles, there he is, Jonathan Moody of the British Royals, Daniel Bergen of the Ukrainian Wildcats, and Rainis Berzins of the Latvian Golden Stars.
So my eyes are on Furkan Akar and Clayton Di Clemente in this race. Obviously, you know, the reason that we watch these races is because nobody knows who's going to win. But my eyes will be there. I do anticipate Bergen and Berzins causing some trouble for Furkan and Di Clemente throughout the race.
Go to the start. Ready.
Berzins, his first ever senior medal on World Cup circuit did come in a 1,500 meters in Salt Lake City on this ice in 2022. Rainis Berzins was 15th, and so yeah, there's a number of things to look for. Clayton Di Clemente, we've seen so far this season, he can be a feisty skater, likes to get up.
He is a feisty skater, and I really like that about him. There are lots of skaters who maybe they're not skating scared, but they're also not skating like they're prepared enough to win. Clayton Di Clemente skates like he is prepared enough to win. He does not. It doesn't matter what the actual outcome is. His intention, his effort, his focus goes into racing like the competitor that he really is.
It is Lucas McDonald on the front right now. Murphy, the lone entrant from the nation of Luxembourg.
Pace is still slow, so it's easy pickings right now. I can see the Polish skater starting to build around the outside. No, I'm sorry.
I think you're looking at Rainis Berzins.
I am looking at Rainis Berzins. My apologies.
Star. He was sitting comfortably on the back for so long, starting to make his move a little bit, but now it's a car really turning the screws, trying to go all the way around to the lead.
And succeeding.
Mostly.
Mostly.
Lucas McDonald just losing a bit of an edge. That will be reviewed. Not sure what might have happened there, but they'll take a look. But it is a car on the front. Di Clemente. Woo!
A dangerous move by De Clemente. And so if you're watching at home, you know a pass is well done if they set it up. That means you can tell going into the corner what the skater will try to do in the exit of the corner. It's a poor setup if an athlete waits until the 6th or 7th block to try to squeak by.
Sometimes you get lucky there. No contact was made. He snuck in there just in the nick of time. And now it is Berzins on the front with a car around him inside. 2 to go now. And Lucas McDonald at his speed just sapped there. He's off the back, but now Di Clemente is in second. Berzins leading the way. Is going to be, from the looks of things, the gold star for the Golden Star with the USA Eagle. Di Clemente coming in second.
Strong racing there by Berzins, doing a great job getting to the front smoothly. What he really did was control the pace from the front, which is really a skill.
So we'll see as it's being reviewed.
A little tight here, a little too tight. And so we said how giving and receiving a bump will waste energy. That's 70%. The chest is up, the weight's on the heels. It's hard to recover from that.
Berzins stayed out of trouble. And so in the end, yeah, it is Rainis Berzins and Clayton Di Clemente, 1 and 2. Time not fast enough, so still on the bubble. Mika Klevstuen and Nico Anderman. I think Anderman is breathing a little bit more freely now.
Well, Anderman is basically guaranteed. There's only one race, is that right? There's only one race left,
so I'm just
he
trying
will
to think
not
of
get bumped.
some wacky scenario where there are multiple advancements.
Sure. Now that always could happen, because if there's a penalty and an advancement, they will no longer take the fastest third times. They will take the athletes who have made it on an advancement before the athletes who made it on time.
Final heat in the men's 1500 meters. Liu Zhanshuo of the Hong Kong Ice Chillins. Robin Bendig, that man right there, of the German Wolves. Lee Jung-soo of the Korean White Tigers. Jonas Hammermuller, another Wolf. Stefan Alexander Kumurjev of the Bulgarian Kings. Purapat Chiangmai of the Thai Elephants. And Lucas Wareham of the Aussie Racing Roos.
And so again, we're seeing
Go to the start.
two German skaters together. Hopefully we can get out front and try to work together in this race.
Ready.
Not often you see two teammates together until later on, but you were mentioning it's not technically sort of, they know how they skate, and if it's sort of unofficially working together, you can see that.
Yes, so if teammates or coaches are caught specifically planning to work together during a race, that's called team skating. If two skaters from the same country choose to skate together like this, that's just good racing. And I would even say you don't have to be from the same country. Me personally, if I was in a race with a Korean athlete, I'd rather follow the Korean athlete than, let's say, a Great Britain athlete. The only reason I say that is because I was trained with Korean coaches. I know the Korean style. I can conserve energy with a Korean skater. Versus if I'm skating with a style that I'm unfamiliar with, I have to waste more energy trying to respond to that athlete. So again, if you're conspiring, that's team skating. But two skaters from the same country racing together, that's just good strategy.
Liu Zhanshuo sitting at second now. Things really starting to pick up. I think maybe sensing the time a little bit, but they did go off a little bit heavy off the start. And as you were pointing out, it's easier to bank time than to chase time.
Yeah, I'm not sure this is going to be a fastest third, but they sure are working together now. We see the pace picking up and lots of jockeying in the pack.
is Lee Jung-soo, pardon me. Korea anxiously anticipating hosting next weekend with the crowds they have there in short track mad Republic of Korea. It is still Lee Jung-soo holding them off. Wareham marking them. The German skaters in third and fifth at the moment. Khmurjev sitting in fourth. Right. I'm watching for Liu Jianchuo. He's shown he's able to map some of the faster skaters, and now here he goes.
And that was a perfect setup. He nailed the timing out of that corner. Great aggressive crossovers up into third.
Still wants to get up into the top two. Coming up to C2 to go. He's trying to make that move on the inside on Wareham, making it stick, and he does.
And he needs to keep his speed here. Sometimes those passes can slow you down. He's got to stick to Lee Jung-soo like glue.
Wareham trying to fight back. He's right up behind Liu Jianchuo. It is looking like Lee Jung-soo taking it, and Liu Jianchuo hanging on for second.
Liu doing an amazing job there with his strategy and tactics. I hope we can get a replay on that, because he did several track patterns that were truly effective in keeping him, well, first of all, in getting him up to qualifying position, and then keeping it.
There is a review underway, and there's something getting looked at.
So Lee Jung-soo coming around the outside, looking cool as a cucumber. Like, he makes it look so easy. Up on the inside, a Bulgarian king. A little late pass there. But again, it's an art. It's a skill and it's an art to try to nail that timing. Not only do you want to get to the front, but you want to control the pace when you get there. Liu making a smooth pass into second. Maybe causing Wareham to get a little back on his heels, but again, no contact. And now let's watch the track patterns here. Oh, wow. So right there, that's Liu cutting off the Australian skater, trying to get around him. Really excellent racing.
Hirayami, Japan. Svetlana Repska, Ukraine. Anna Jensen, Latvia. Petra, Czech.
So they are still reviewing down there. They've moved over to the other screen where they punch in their decisions, and so looks like we are moments away from whatever they decide. Nothing has been made official just yet, and it has. And there is some discipline being handed out. We will throw things down to the ice, and we will let them make the official announcement.
After review, we give penalty to skater number 112 from Bulgaria.
So there you have it. Stefan Alexander Khmurjev gets the penalty, and we'll get a look at what exactly happened. But it didn't really affect the top two, Lee Jung-soo, Liu Jianchuo, so no advancements. As we'll see if there's a penalty where a skater is in a situation to move on, that's when we start to see the advancements, but not in this time. Here's the incident. And so an illegal late pass is the call.
Yeah, and I see what he's doing there. So the timing cutting to the inside track was well done, but the timing going straight into the corner was not. Contact being caused is an immediate penalty.
There you have it. And so that is the men's 1500 meters repechage quarterfinal. Now we have the women's repechage quarterfinals. 4 heats in this one. First 2 move on and up to 2 of the fastest third place skaters. You saw the start list. We'll just read them through once they get this going.
Ready.
Ami of the Ninjas, Svetlana Repechage of the Wildcats, Anna Jansson of the Latvian Golden Stars, Petra Vankova of the Ice Fighters, Jin Kim of the Racing Roos, and Dita Van Oerschacht of the Dutch Lions. First time we see that instantly recognizable orange Lions kit out there today.
And every single one of these repechage quarterfinals is going to have 6 skaters in it. That is challenging in a 1,000 meter. Typically in a 1,500 meter, you see 6 athletes on the line, and there's plenty of time to move and get in position. The 1,000 meter is more likely to hit a strong pace early on, and so if you're in 5th or 6th place, the timing to move up to the front, there's less of it.
And it is Kim trying to go and probably deciding smartly not to try to force that into the lead as the corner was approaching. She saw it in the second. It is Hidai on the front.
Tight move there by Latvia, but it does seem to work.
And Dita Van Oorschot trying to go up the inside. Oh, and I thought she made it stick, but no, Kim goes down. That will get another look. For half a second, everybody was on their skates, and there was a delay, and then she was off.
And we talked a little bit yesterday about the importance of patience. That was not a patient race. It can be very stressful as an athlete to just simply wait for the hole to open up, and it's better to wait than to force a move and risk a penalty.
It is Hidai leading the way. I think she has nothing to worry about. It is that incident with Dita Van Oorschot that will get another look. Petra Vankova finishes in third place. Yeah, they will take a look at that incident.
So again, 6 on the line here. That is a stacked race. Van Oorschot staying on the outside, which is smart. Allows her to carry her speed off the start. Now this is a bit of a late pass. I did not see a setup, and then there's contact. So we'll see what the officials decide to call it. But there is a little bit of a track change from the outside in coming from the Australian athlete.
Introducing the skaters for Q2. Lisa Axing, Germany. Nagashima Mirei, Japan. Lam Chingyan.
An excellent finish there by Amy Hirai. Smooth move. She doesn't even look tired, does she?
And they are still taking a look at that. And as always, sometimes we get up on our feet. Sometimes they're looking at one thing. If somebody starts looking at each skater for something in particular. So they're taking their time on this one.
Here's the race review room where our officials can see every pass from every angle. So, yeah, good defending here. Great defending by the Australian skater Kim, but maybe a little too aggressive because that contact, it's hard to say who caused it. The officials will let us know.
And it looks like the decision has been made. Okay, her shot. Not a lot she can do right now. I'm sure. I can't see any fingers crossed, but mentally they must be.
Well, and there is this kind of dread that'll weigh heavy on an athlete when you're waiting for the officials to decide the results of the race. The thing to remember as an athlete is that what athletes control is the effort, not the outcome. And it's actually a great sign of mental toughness when an athlete can stay focused on their effort and release the outcome to the refs.
After review, the decision is no penalty due to shared responsibility between skater number 35 from Netherlands and skater number 80 from Australia.
And so there you go. Shared responsibility. That's kind of what you were saying. You saw something of some, you saw something of the other. So shared responsibility is to sort of say, this is kind of both of you, so no penalty.
Yeah, and even that makes sense. That makes sense because because Van Oorschot was a little late on that pass. Kim did a good job defending, but I'll just speak for myself as an athlete. There is a point going into the corner, something's got to give, so it's really just a game of chicken, and that's where that shared responsibility call comes from.
There you go, so both of them. So yeah, Kim almost nearly stayed on her skates, and if that had sort of happened, there might not have been that review at all, but see, she goes down. Van Oorschot, that second place finish will hold up. And there's the start list for heat number 2. Lisa Eckstein of the Wolves, Nakashima Mide of the Ninjas, Lam Chingyan of the Ice Chilins, Lena Ajgalieva of the Nomads, Danucha Chataisong of the Elephants, and Valentina Askic of the Dalmatians. And I do not see Valentina Askic. Oh, no, there she is, just behind the official. There we go.
Go
all 6.
to the start. Ready.
Ooh, a fast start on this one. Everybody wants that fastest third time.
They saw one, they know it's up to 2 of them, and so they know the first time to beat. The first third place was 136.495, and that had some chaos involved in it, and so we are banking some time early.
So this is the reason why the 1,000-meter is such a fun race, because, you know, unlike the 1,500 where there's not a lot of movement, there's a constant shuffle for position in the 1,000.
For all the acclamations, and your folks getting ready for the first position. Now on the third is
Askic doing a great job controlling this pace. She looks calm and confident. Head coach Katarina Novotna taking over the program and having great success with the Croatian Dalmatians.
Finding their feet, so to speak. They had a mixed relay team entered, and so on that side, you know, like a number of programs, really starting to build something, and they need a result or two to start to say back at home, potential supporters, hey, look at what we're doing, get behind us. Here's Askic at the front, putting on a display. Nakashima Mide in second. Top-ranked skater in this field. It's very even. It's Lisa Eckstein. She is 40th ranked. Actually, it is Nakashima who's 36th, but it's all pretty close, so it is a very even race. But Askic holding them off, it looks like. And I think she does.
Yeah, dive for the line.
We had a couple races in Montreal where on that final turn, a couple races went too far deep and the camera missed them,
yep.
And so they didn't get a time registered. So now that's always in the back of my head when I see them go together like that.
And that's considered an off track because you stepped off the track. That can also happen if an athlete misses a block. That being said, you can go inside those lines on a normal lap. It's just on the finish that you cannot miss the electronic strip that's in the ice tracking the times.
If the camera can't see you, you might as well not exist. And so it is Askic. I think Kang's on.
I don't know. That is so close.
Yeah.
And that was a great move by Nakashima because, again, whether it works or not is not important. What she's done there is said, hey, Askic, I'm coming for you. Whether you win or not, you need to know it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, it is Askic. Nice race for holding them off all the way to the end. How many 11/100ths of a second is that far? Always love those camera shots. So 1:34.256. They achieved their goal of setting that new fastest third place time. With only 2 more races to go. Lisa Eckstein, as nervous as she might be confidently on the bubble right now. But still 2 races to go, and they all know the time to beat, so they all might be going forward as well. And it has 2 Wildcats, 2 Nomads, a Hussar, and an Ice Kia. So there's Yelizaveta Sidorko, Natalia Malashevska, Malika Yermak, Olga Tikhonova, Leonid, and Miroslava Selikova.
Interesting to see what these athletes decide to do. It is very strategic. Again, just because there's that fastest third option, you have to be aware. So let's say I'm thinking, I don't know that I can be top 2 in the race, but I think I can be a fastest third. So the skaters thinking that, they have a risk they have to take. They can go to the front and push the pace and hope that they can hold on to the finish, or they can sit back and try to conserve as much energy as possible and hope that there's a bump or an opportunity to move up into top 2.
And you pointed that out before. Look at the coach's box. You see the numbers 1 through 8. There are some, since with 2 skaters on the ice, there are also 2 coaches, and you're saying each one essentially gets an athlete.
And that is one way that you can ensure maybe there isn't team skating, right? It's not one coach managing both athletes. There are 2 separate strategies going on here.
We're good to go.
Go to the start. Ready.
And Natalia Malashevska, we've seen her put on some power displays in sprint races. 1500 is a whole other beast, and so that's one of those skaters who may be more comfortable with the slower pace, but that is not what we have.
It's not what we have, but she's doing the right thing here, staying in second. She's safe, she's in qualifying position, but she's not having to spend a lot of energy being up in the front. If I were her, I'd be trying to stay in second. One of my favorite strategies as an athlete was every time there's a move like this, I want to move, but I never want to move up to front. I always want to stay in qualifying position with the draft.
Is Malika Yermak, the Nomads, who has found her way on the front. And it's Sidorko holding on to second. Still Malashevska in third, Eve in fourth. And she got strung out early, but they are still together. At the back, some struggles to hang on by Selikova, but no, she gets right up there.
Malashevska right back in that perfect position, and you can see how comfortable she is. Almost everyone is swinging an arm. Malashevska's got 2 arms on her back, not taking extra crossovers, simply shuffling out of the turn, and showing us she has enough speed to just sneak right up the inside.
Makes the move for the lead. The race is on for second. It's about 5 skaters going for a tiny space of the ice. Malashevska staying away from that fray. And after all is said and done, it's Olga Tikhonova in second with a bit of a gap for teammate Yermak in third. We'll see how that time holds up, but it is Malashevska and Tikhonova 1 and 2. Looks like a 1:33-ish for Yermak. That would make that the fastest heat so far.
And that's a good time. You want to see a 1,000-meter being skated at about 1:30 plus or minus. The world record in this event is 1:25.9. That being said, if you're seeing times that are slower than 1:35, that's typically a sign that it was a strategic race, that athletes weren't wanting to give forth a lot of energy, but they wanted to race it out at the finish. Kind of like Malashevska's done here. She stay back, nice and patient. When she does move to the front, it's smooth as butter.
You did mention a world record. We have to be aware of those now because we had one yesterday in the mixed team relay. The Canadian Ice Maples going off in the quarterfinals and taking about a half second off the previous mark.
And that is something that Beijing is well known for. The ice here is fast. It's not only fast, it's reliable. So where we go next week in Seoul, South Korea, the ice will be fast, but it'll be brittle. And I'm not really sure exactly why each country seems to have its own preferences on ice setups, but Beijing is well known as, and Shanghai, well known as some of the fastest ice rinks in the world.
Malashevska, Tikhonova with the big cues, they know they're on, and now it is Malika Yermak really in pole position of those 2 times. Lisa Eckstein's time is really now on the bubble. Heat 4, Gabriela Topolska, Louisiana Stahl, Tinika Dendulk, Yamana Rina, Katarina Budic, and Annabelle Green.
Go to the start. Ready.
Let's see how quickly they go off, and I think, yeah, they are wanting to bank some time early with the possibility of that 3rd place finish getting them on.
Absolutely, and this is smart because they're the last race. They know exactly what they have to do. Again, around 1:30 is a pretty typical time. So far we're seeing 33, 34, 1:36. So it won't be impossible for this to be one of our faster heats.
On the front right now, ranked 48th in the world in this distance coming in, again with that serpentine ranking formula, but here we do have pretty evenly matched skaters once again as Dendulk has to drift off the back.
And I'd like to see Louisiana Stahl stay there. I know she's putting some effort into getting to the front, but hey, if it doesn't work early in the race, you're best to just tuck in, take a deep breath, and re-accelerate when the opportunity comes. I'd say it's coming right about now.
She has some space behind her, and as you like to point out, that allows you to sort of set things up on your own.
So she's doing the right track patterns, Louisiana Stahl, but she may not be leaving enough space between her and 4th place to close the gap while she sets up a pass.
Inside, 2 to go. Topolska slips to second as Yamana Rina jumps to the lead. Here comes Annabelle Green. Budic also forced outside a little bit.
Good timing here by Louisiana Stahl, being patient.
And she gets up into 3rd. Closing it up to the top 2 might be difficult. We will watch the time, however, and it is Yamana Rina going 1 and 2 with Gabriela Topolska, a 134.98-ish. Might not be enough.
I don't think it'll be enough. And potentially, if Louisiana Stahl had it her way, she would have gotten up to the front early on when she was trying and pushed that pace a little harder. But this is the way it worked right there. Obviously, taking some time away from the skaters in back. Topolska doing a really nice job leading this race, staying out of trouble.
Staying in the front for so long as all the action took place behind her. Yamana, rather, leaving it late to make the move, and that was the moment. this race.
And we're really seeing some cool things in the slow-mo here. If you're watching at home, you'll notice as soon as that left leg comes out underneath the body, how they kind of sit their hips back, that's a power position. So oftentimes the skater might be landing a little high up on their toes, and then they compress their body down, shift the weight back, and that's where they have the most control, the most power over each push.
There's an incident there. I didn't see that little bump that put Buric out wide. And actually, hold up. You're going to throw it down to the ice for an announcement.
Penalty to skater number 51 from Japan, and announcement for skater number 60 from Belgium.
So there you go, Yamana Rina. It was an early move because I remember mentioning Tineke Dendulk was off the back. And so it is Yamana getting the penalty. Tineke Dendulk advances. That bumps Stahl up into second, and that takes away one of the third place times. So Lisa Eckstein will not be moving on. Malika Yermak goes through as the only third place finisher. Here is the incident. Inside skater failure to give way is the ruling.
Interesting. So what the Belgian king there was doing, Dendulk, she was trying to do what's called a deep track. It is a really effective strategy, but there's always that question of who gets the right of way. Once two skaters have their shoulders level or even going into a corner, that's where you start to see some of those shared responsibility calls, because no one's really in front, we're even. It can be a challenge as an athlete. If you're on the outside, it feels unfair. Why should I have to step out and give my track away if this pass hasn't been finished? But if you're on the inside, you're thinking, well, hey, I'm even with you, so if you want the lane, fight for it, take it back. And this is where you do see those contacts happening, because both athletes think, hey, this is mine. And that's how you're supposed to think as an athlete. You're supposed to think that this race is mine, I've got this. You need that level of confidence to do what it takes to succeed.
And so we have our first break of the day, and we're going to see some of these skaters back out on the ice because it's right away with the Repechage semifinals in the 1500s. So it is about 14.5 minutes from now, so we'll catch our first breath of the day. You can do the same wherever you may be around the world. Stay with us.
gentlemen, we would like to remind you to take your seats according to your ticket information. Please refrain from walking around or standing for a long time during the game. Please do not use flash photography. Please remain quiet when athletes involve to style and adjust your phone to silent or vibrate. Please do not litter and properly dispose of your trash. Keep the venue clean by separating your trash. Please do not smoke in the venue. Thank you for your cooperation. 各位观众朋友们，我们温馨的提示您，请您按票面信息对号入座。观赛期间不要随意走动或长时间站立，以免影响他人观赛。在比赛进行中，请不要使用闪光灯拍照。当运动员准备出发时，请保持安静，并且将手机调整至静音或震动模式。请大家不要乱丢垃圾，做好垃圾分类，保持场馆内的整洁。请勿在场馆内吸烟，做文明观众。感谢您的配合。 Ladies and gentlemen, the upcoming match is men's 1500 meters Rep Semifinal.
The fanfare that announces our return to the Capital Indoor Stadium here in Beijing. And right back to it, the men's 1500 meter repechage semifinals, and there is zero margin for error in this race. Just one out of each two heats, the winner will move on. Of course, the fact that there is this one advancer, or just one spot with 7 skaters in each heat, does increase the chances of incidents and advancements. So there, of course, advancements could be allowed, but on merit alone of getting over the line first, just one.
I anticipate that we will see a lot of jockeying in these next couple of races, and I'm gonna make a strong statement. I have a feeling that the most patient skater will succeed. Sometimes it's not of benefit to be in the front too early because everyone wants to knock you off your spot. What can be helpful is to hang in the middle of the pack, 4th, 5th, 6th, and then try to set up that perfect timing when you do see skaters start to jostle, taking advantage of that, conserving energy throughout the race.
And you did see the start list. There's just so much to watch for, from Brendan Corey to Reynes Berzins, Clayton DiClemente, and then Lu Jianshuo. You're talking about patience. He skated a very patient quarterfinal, and one of those guys who does skate nice tactical races.
Certainly, I think Lee Jung-soo is who I'm particularly looking for in this race. I don't know if he'll go to the front early or if he'll make a pass at the end, but Lee Jung-soo does have a lot of experience. He's been racing internationally since, gosh, I think maybe 2007, 2008. He's got a lot of experience coming into this race.
A couple of gold medals, that'll earn you some credibility with the other skaters.
And even just some confidence.
So 7 skaters skating for
Go to the start.
first place and advancement into the World Tour session this afternoon.
Ready.
How many other skaters right now were still born in the 80s? Lee Jung-soo, born in 1989.
It might really just be he and Ariana Fontana on the field at this point.
A dying breed for my birth decade.
Mine as well. It's bittersweet to watch the athletes that are from my very own generation continuing to succeed at this level. So grateful to actually have been at Lee Jung-soo's first World Junior Championships, watching him win that event. Again, I remember the venue, the year was 07, 08, something like that. And here we are more than 10 years later, and he's still on top.
And Lu Jianshuo, perhaps a different tack this time. He was at the back for so long in his repechage quarterfinal, now sitting at the front. Same with the likes of Brendan Corey. He was happy at the front earlier. Now this is the chess match right now.
This is my favorite kind of racing right here, when there's no fastest third or fastest second time. This is when you start to see the strategy at its best. And it's not about who's the strongest, it's about who's the smartest.
Mattia Antonioli on the front, Clayton DiClemente, sort of the washing machine effect as rinse and repeat cycling through. And Corey on the inside makes that move stick.
Yeah, great timing, even in the middle of the pack from Berzins and DiClemente. They're being smart. They're staying close enough to react as a move like this.
Big injection of pace from Lu. Berzins following along. That had a moment of separation, but it's all back to everybody tightly tucked in there as we are inside 6 to go.
And now Lu's doing a great strategy. He's gone to the front. He's going to lead a progressive pace. And he knows that someone is coming.
The big question, who will it be? Reynes Berzins is right behind him. Brendan Corey's there.
I want to see someone move right now. If you miss the timing now, you're going to miss the final sprint.
And Berzins looks on the outside. He and Lu come together. That cost Berzins a lot of speed. It is Lu Jianshuo. Brendan Corey takes that little gifted opportunity into second. DiClemente trying to take a look on the outside.
Now Brendan needs to defend on the outside. Lee Jung-soo is coming. He needs to build his speed and set up a pass.
Here comes Lee at the bell. Corey kind of squeezed in there, but can he make it around the outside? He does, but 2 go down. It's Berzins, or is it Corey first? It's Corey, I think.
Wow, what a race. What a race and redemption for Brendan Quarry. That is not the official finish, but a great opportunity for a comeback after yesterday's results.
They are going to look at that. Liu Jianshuo, he is almost doing the trademark grab of the collarbone, but he is sitting up now on his own. Li Junsu also down as well, slow to get up, and so there will be a review because it was on that last corner. As we said, expect it to happen.
And a click of the blades there in the clip that we just saw. De Clemente squeezing in. That will definitely be a review. Beautiful veteran move by Quarry. Look how he sits back in his skates, even as his chest goes down. That keeps him stable. Oh, but a crash coming for Li Jianshuo.
That was the last incident on the corner. So they are looking actually at a possible late pass of Berzins right there on Liu Jianshuo. And
now,
so through all that, it does look like Quarry came through unscathed.
It does, and what's interesting is that even if they disqualify Berzins, neither of those other two skaters were in qualifying position, so they're not guaranteed an advancement.
I think he's feeling confident after a day of getting bumped around yesterday.
That's right. I saw him in the weight room yesterday. I said, "Hey man, how you doing?" He said, "I'm not good." And I said, "I know. Keep your head up." And that's what it looks like.
Reviewing that, it's, as he mentioned, with one spot only available for the race winner. They determined that Liu was potentially in a position, and here is the incident right there. And
oh my goodness.
Yeah, Li was just the innocent bystander in this.
Unavoidable by Li. There's no way he could have skated around that.
And they're running the risk there. Again, if you're not on the front, there's always the opportunity to get caught up in something.
Well, and especially when you're skating on the outside, and this is why not a lot of people like to make an outside pass. It is the most challenging pass, and you're the most vulnerable in case anyone on the inside lane makes a mistake.
So it looks like the results are being tabulated. They're punching in the results. We'll just wait to see. I like to wait for them to make the announcement official. There are sometimes that we get it at the same time as viewers. There are sometimes we see it a split second before. I just like them to make it for the effect.
Well, yes. And what's nice is that the officials are not just checking the TV monitors here by the ice. There's an entire room full of TV monitors and officials observing every angle. We do see the medical staff checking on Liu.
That's Liu, and that's almost the trademark grab of the collarbone, which here was the announcement.
After review, we give yellow card for skater number 37 from Latvia and advancement for number 90, Hong Kong, China.
And there you go. Berzins gets the yellow card. Liu does get advanced because I guess they saw it as he could have made that dash to the finish to win the race, but with the collar, but I mean, I'd say that's just the trademark look of the call. When you watch enough cycling, you sort of see that, but obviously you hope he's okay. He is advanced. And then we know we'll get another look there, but then the yellow card for Remus Berzins.
And so, remember at home that the yellow card means it was malicious. It wasn't just a good try, it was putting danger, and yeah, I would agree. 3 wide into the corner, he tries to sneak in, but he doesn't have it.
You know, it's just the dangerous behavior that if there is a second yellow card in this event, that just sort of means extra trouble, but we do have the advancement there, but that still means there is still the first place skater open. It just means going to be some crowded start lines this afternoon. And so heat number 2, Tobias Wolf, Michał Niewinski, Mika Klevstuen, Zhu Yiding, Theo Collins, Nathan Thomas, and Niall Tracy. And I think we can just say now buckle up.
Go to the start. Ready.
So a couple of Royals, a couple of Hussars, a Viking, we have a Lung, and then we have the skater from Austria, young Tobias Wolf, who only just turned 20 years old, and so here he is mixing it up with some pretty strong, powerful skaters.
And I've got my eyes on Zhu Yiding. I would consider him a favorite in this race. He's doing the smart thing, staying in the back, staying relaxed. I do want to see the Hussars skating together. I do want to see the British Royals skating together. Again, that doesn't mean you're team skating. That means you're smart.
This one is a bit of a slower race. The longer it goes, I myself, if it comes down to a shorter sprint, I like the looks of Nivinsky, but then you have a guy like Niall Tracy who confidently leads to the front. He's nowhere near there right now. It's Mika Klevstuen right now trying to upset the apple cart a little bit. And now it is Nivinsky. Can he make that stick on the inside? Ooh, everybody through.
Everybody through, and remember, making those moves, it costs energy. When you're constantly accelerating and decelerating, you're basically doing an interval workout.
Klevstuen again trying to make the outside. It's the guys we're not talking about as the ones maybe to watch to move on who are making the noise right now. Klevstuen of that developing Norwegian Vikings program.
And Klevstuen, he's going too fast too soon. And we've talked about this idea of patience and how difficult it is when you are still developing as an athlete to maintain your patience, maintain your composure under pressure like this.
Nivinsky made that move stick for third, very tight into the corner. And now two go down, a Royal and the Austrian skater. We'll get a review. Zhu moves to the front. He gets the roar from the home crowd. Nivinsky makes the move outside to in to take the lead.
Textbook pass by Nivinsky, perfectly executed.
He is now inside two to go. He can turn on the horsepower now. Does Nivinsky have enough to hang on? A man who maybe thinks more of the 500 as his specialty. He is gasping for air right now. Michał Nivinsky hangs on, and does he take it? Yes, he does.
Impressive skating by Nivinsky. Not only several well-timed passes throughout the race, but again, that conservation of energy. If you're hitting your best speed earlier than 2 to go, you're in trouble. So waiting for that timing to get out front and then really putting his foot on the gas, that was perfect.
It was two moves, one on the outside and then he tucked in on the inside. Quick change direction while maintaining the speed.
Textbook, and that shows me that he has great control over his equipment. As an athlete, you need to know how to torque your body around these turns, but you also have to have your body weight placed in precisely the right spot on your blades in order for them to do what you want.
He's also having a lot of fun in Montreal, giving high fives to the track stewards, and just a guy who really seems to love what he's doing. I think, is this the move right here? No, it's not. That's the collision. He came in into the corner. And it slid out. Niall Tracy there in third behind Zhu Yiding. Nivinsky looks like he's safe. I don't think they're investigating anything from him. Yes, there will be that incident. There is a penalty coming out of it. It doesn't affect the overall result, but we'll throw it down to the ice.
After review, we give penalty to skater number 94 from Great Britain.
There's a penalty.
There you go. It is Theo Collins getting the penalty.
Inside skater failure to give way.
And so there you go. And so that's the men's 1500. Back to the women's 1,000-meter repechage. Two heats. Once again, the first two from each. Here's the incident. That's getting a look. Inside skater failure to give way, and you just see him coming up the inside.
He thinks he's going to sneak into that hole up in fourth, but he just doesn't have the speed.
And so since it didn't affect the overall, no advancements, just the penalty. And now back to the women's 1,000 meters. As you see the qualifiers, Nivinsky, Brendan Corey, and Lu Jianshuo getting advanced. Hopefully that injury he was sporting was not too bad. And so the first of two heats, just the winners, as I said. It has two nomads in positions 1 and 2. Olga Tikhonova, Malika Yermak, Valentina Askic, Louisiana Stahl, and Hirai Ami.
Go to the start. Ready.
So earlier we saw Askic skate defensively from the front and hold off the advancing horde. We saw Louisiana Stahl wind things up, but maybe just a little too late. But then there was the advancement for her, and now we have the two nomads potentially teaming up to see what they can do. Of course, unofficially teaming up, as we like to point out.
Absolutely, and smart skating by Hirai, getting out of the back and up into third. And hey, if the two Kazakhstan skaters want to lead this race, by all means. These are good strategies by all skaters in the field.
Stall. Gotta say it's similar where you saw her at the back earlier on, and she wound things up. But now Hirai wants to move to the front. Of course, it's 1,000 meters. I keep having it in my head that it's a 1,500, but it's 1,000.
It's 1,000, and I'm really impressed with Hirai. Every time I've thought in my head, like, now's the time, she's moved within 1/10 of a second of that. So she's really taking advantage of the timing of the other racers and of the timing of the pace during this race.
Inside, 3 to go. Hirai, Yermak, and Askic right now.
And Hirai is going to continue to drop this pace down lap by lap. We'll see if maybe Buric is going to have, if Askic is going to have the strength at the end to make a pass.
She's making a look on the outside, seeing if she can get up to speed. Is she going to dive in, or is she going to try to carry it all the way around? Askic into second. It is Hirai staying away from everybody, though. And it looks like it is a nice race by the Japanese ninja there to take the first heat of the Repechage semifinal. I don't see anything being reviewed.
No, that was a clean race. I mean, potentially I would have loved to see a little more jockeying for position, but when you have an athlete like Amy Hirai doing all the right things at all the right times, it doesn't leave a lot of room for anyone else.
Confident for her. Amy moving on, and it looks like it's confirmed. No, still this is unofficial, but we'll expect that to change in a moment. Second heat's already out on the ice. Another 5 skaters, another 1,000 meters, all skating for 1 place. There is the result, and there is the big Q next to Hirai Ami's name. She will move into the quarterfinals from the Repechage semifinals. And so we will see her again this afternoon.
And what she needs to do right now is to get her skates off. She needs to go for a jog, get a stretch, and then lay down. Laying down with your feet up the wall is one of the most effective recovery postures for these athletes. It's funny, it's actually a yoga pose to lay on your back with your feet up the wall. And to do that for about 10-20 minutes, now that she's got downtime before afternoon races, is the most effective thing she can do to put the energy back in her legs.
I know that's what I did when we got back to the hotel yesterday. I laid
legs
down.
Legs up
no,
the wall.
I just lay down.
Well, hey, if you're at home and you're tired.
Heat number 2.
Ready. Go to the start. Ready.
Malashevsky of the Hussars, Nakashima of the Ninjas, Topolska of the Hussars, so 2 Hussars in this one. Dita Van Oerschaut of the Lions, that's her on the front, and Tineke Dendalk of the Ice Bears, and it's Nakashima the inside to take P1 at the moment.
Nakashima looking very comfortable, doing what's called a cruising speed, not really exerting any unnecessary energy.
Malashevsky trying to pull her way through there. And Tineke Dendalk goes down. That will certainly get a look. Not sure what fully happened there. Just people might have gotten tangled up, but we'll see again. But it is now Dita Van Oerschaut on the front.
And I'd like to see one of the Polish Hussars make a move just like that.
There you go. It is Topolska up into second. Van Oerschaut holding them off right now inside. 4 to go.
So 4 to go is still plenty of time in a race. You don't usually see top speed until 2 to go. I'd like to see any one of these athletes put a little gap between themselves and the person in front, and then power either into or out of a corner to progress up into first.
Inside 2 to go. Van Oerschaut holding them off for now. Topolska taking a look. Here comes Nakashima at the bell. It is Van Oerschaut still in front. Is there Topolska making a move? Here comes Nakashima as well up the inside. And I think it's going to be Dita Van Oerschaut holding everybody off for the win.
Great leading by Great leading by Van Oorschot, really controlling the pace of that race. Great timing by Nakashima, just not enough time, not enough laps left to progress up into that qualifying spot. Oh man, and here we see a big
So it
mistake.
kind of looked like one was going in, one was going out, and they just came together coming out of that corner. And so that'll obviously get reviewed, but if we looked at it, it's neither of them were in a position. They weren't in first overall, so.
And I mean, I'd like to see that again, just to make sure I'm saying the right things here. But in my opinion, sometimes when a skater gets a little wild like that, that's more of a balance issue and a control issue. What you want to do in those situations is sit your hips back and bend your knees to get low as fast as possible. The bigger and wider you are when you skate, the harder it is to control the movements. Becoming low, small, compact, that's what puts you back in control over your skates.
And so it is looking at possible contact from behind Natalia Malashevska on Tineke Dendal. She's debriefing with Vida Van Oorschot, the two skaters from the Low Countries. Van Oorschot, confident race from her, looking like she will be into this afternoon in the women's 1,000 meters. They are punching in results now.
And it's nice to see, or even hear, you know, as they go back into the heat box area, there's some chatter, there's some friendly camaraderie, even though maybe not everyone got the result that they wanted.
And we will throw it down to the ice.
After review, we give penalty to skater number 97 from Poland.
So there you go, Natalia Malashevska gets the penalty. No advancements though. She's able, they're all's well at the end, the two skaters. I think it might have just been a miscommunication there on the ice, and that happens sometimes, but everybody is okay, and that's what matters. Tineke Dendal, as I said, she was not in an advancement position, so no advancement, just Malashevska on the penalty. And here it is, contact from behind, and oops.
I see. Yeah, so she really is really getting forced up onto her toes. The Belgium king Dendal doesn't even have the option to sit back and find that compression. Ice bear, I'm sorry, the Belgian ice bears.
I've had 2 extra weeks of practice.
Kings,
there you
Belgian
go.
ice bears.
I've had 2 extra weeks to get them already. We do have a feature on some of those identities coming up in the World Tour session that we can all get a look at. They're the qualifiers, Van Oorschot and Hidai Emi. You see the ice resurfacing machine out on the ice. You see when will we return to action. That is in about 13.5 minutes. So once again, we get another break back for the men's 500-meter repechage quarterfinals.
现场的各位观众朋友们，再次欢迎大家来到北京首都体育馆，观看2024至2025赛季国际滑联短道速滑世界巡回赛北京站的比赛。现在呢，大家看向左右两侧的大屏幕，要进入到现场的 Lucky Can 抽奖环节。这个部分我们会送出8份赛事的官方特许周边，想要的朋友来点掌声欢呼！接下来有请摄像老师为我们锁定第1位幸运观众。那重点不用，这位小朋友穿着这个黑色的外套的小朋友，不好意思被这个哥哥挡住了啊，但是没关系。获奖的是那位小朋友啊，获奖的是那位小朋友。一会儿呢，你们坐在这个位置上不要动，工作人员会去联系你们1家3口来看比赛的啊。恭喜这位小朋友，你获奖啦！来，第2位。好，又是一位小朋友啊，穿着红色的外套，非常的显眼。恭喜你，是第2位获得我们赛事特许周边的幸运观众。今天看看现场也确实有很多啊。家庭为单位，带着自己的孩子、小朋友一起来看比赛的观众，我们来看看第3位。第3位这位戴着棕色帽子的女生，恭喜你是我们的第3位的幸运观众。所有获奖的朋友们啊，记得不要挪的位置，就坐在自己的位置上。稍后的工作人员会到你身边把奖品送给你。这是第3位了啊，来第4位。第4位是谁呢？有请摄像老师来看。各位好，如果你今天看的比较显眼，就是这位穿的跟我们这个泳裙赛事很搭哈，一身洁白衣服的这位女生，恭喜你
I always have to let the music finish. If you've heard that, if you hear that over the system, I really hope you do, because it's quite the fanfare that snaps us all back to attention.
Well, and fun fact, that's the fanfare they play right before the medal ceremonies. It brings back nice memories.
Yeah, for being in Montreal, there was a similar music. Well, it's not similar. I mean, they had their own songs they played too, but you got used to hearing that similar music all the time, for all the medal presentations. Women's, or men's rather, repechage quarterfinals, 8 heats, and we are going to zip through them in a hurry. Whether or not we have any reviews remains to be seen, because only the first place skater and a maximum of 2 second place skaters will move on. And so this one could get a little bit kooky in the end. However, the first race has, I guess, a prohibitive favorite when you have Andrew Hyo of the USA Eagles ranked number 9th in the world. A top 10 ranking skater here, and others sort of drift down a little bit. But there's Hyo, there's Martin Kolench and Ivan Marcinich of the Dalmatians, there's Lucas Wareham of the Australian Racing Roos, and Felix Pigeon, perhaps maybe more of a guy who you would see in the 1500. Here he is in the 500. That's why he doesn't have a world ranking next to his name, but here he is, repechage quarterfinals.
And Andrew Hyo having lane 1 is definitely a favorite for this race. What I'd like to see from Andrew, since he is the favorite, since he is in lane 1, I'd like to see him shift his weight back slightly into his feet and put power in his pushes. He has tremendous foot speed, which is why he is so talented in the 5. This is a great opportunity for him to practice more power as he skates.
Whistled to the line. We're actually going to have over the weekend in the World Tour session feature on the 500 meters itself, what kind of makes it different from everything else. And it's all out for 500 meters. There'll be the race to the corner, and we'll see if they get through it. Sometimes we have a few of those retakes when there's skaters going down into the corner. But here we go.
Go to the start. Ready.
And everybody's through. Hold your breath. And it is Hyo emerging as the front runner right now.
He does a great job crossing through the corner there, even around the apex, and now we're at top speed. Oh no, a fall.
It was Pigeon going in on Wareham, and Pigeon had been closing it up there, but that's taken a lot of his speed out. Wareham went down at a pretty high speed, but is Hyo under a bit of pressure? Here comes Martin Kolench taking a look.
He is under pressure. Martin Kolench carrying his speed on the outside, which is good form. Hyo needing to be aware of his defensive skating track patterns.
Of course, there is that opportunity for second. Who takes it? I think it's Kolench.
See, you have to be defensive. It's hard at this speed to maintain a tight track, but the door should not be open on the inside lane coming around the last turn.
Martin Kolench, never say die. Left it late. He had been seizing it up, and you're talking about, he'd been sizing up that move for a long time, and when you talk about patience, he left it late, the door was open, and ever the opportunist.
2 hands on the ice by the Australian skater, and then, gosh, you see how his shoulders twist in, his hips twist out. There's no way he can save it.
So that is getting reviewed. It wasn't in from a position of advancement, but
just feeling safe, Andrew Hyo coming around that turn.
that is incredibly close. Who takes it? Yeah, it's Kolench by 9 thousandths of a second.
That'll break your heart.
Woo. Now he has to hope and wait that the time will hold up.
Man, you know,
it is still listed as unofficial as they're reviewing that, but man, oh man.
Well, and I understand Andrew Hyo's strategy there, because on the last lap he did appear to be holding or pulling a gap. Man, we're right back to yesterday, Gavin. Experience is what you get when you don't get what you want. I promise you Andrew Hyo's feelings are hurt, especially if these unofficial results hold up.
We'll have to wait and see is what is being reviewed. It's Felix Pigeon is what's being investigated there. So spun around like a top. Wareham just sort of thrown in the opposite direction. But here it is. Yeah, they went out wide. That's after the actual pass was made. And Wareham spins around.
And a valiant effort. You can see he's got 2 hands reaching across the inside. He's trying to turn his body to stay on his blades, and they just can't hold it. especially as the ice breaks out beneath his right foot.
I believe physics wins again.
Ah, shoot.
Looks like an announcement has been made. We're going to throw it down to the floor. Ice. Nope, no decision has been made in the end. No discipline handed out. And so it is Kolech getting the big Q and a 41.200 as Andrew Hio will start to sweat. He has 7 races to wait through. We'll see if he takes the Reuter Adamek approach and just disappears and focuses on himself, or if he's sitting there the whole time watching and waiting. You see heat number 2, a couple of golden stars, Berzins and Lyzans. There's an Ice Kia, a Royal, and a Nomad.
Go to the start. Ready.
And everybody through the dash in the corner. Both the golden stars now are up to 1 and 2. Tight, close racing for third there, though, but Ashgaliev off into the distance a little bit with Berzins behind him.
And Berzins needs to stay patient because, again, you don't need to force a pass early in this race. He's just closed his gap. He should carry his speed. Watch him stepping out. Ideally, he squeaks up the inside, but great defensive maneuver by Ashgaliev.
He really took a look. He had that inside move there, but Ashgaliev just blocked him out, and there was nowhere to go. Ashgaliev, one more little bit of defensive work to hang on. Here comes Berzins, and they reach, and I think Ashgaliev takes it.
And so it is challenging to be in the front because you have to be defensive, but you can't defend the outside and the inside at the same time, right? So if you're going into a corner, it's helpful to defend if you step out to build speed, but then you open the inside lane for a late inside pass. If you stay tight to the blocks, it's almost impossible to keep your speed around the corner. You open yourself up from an attack from the outside.
Well, it's slower than the previous heat, but here is the break for the line.
Oh, that could, well, they could be looking at that. That hand should not be there by Ashgaliev.
There is nothing getting spotted. We're moving right on to the next one. Yeah, there's the foot. And we are confirmed. Ashgaliev's through. Berzins, that's the second of the second fastest times now, but of course that's only after 2 heats. So we are moving right along. Heat number 3. You heard the roar, perhaps. There is the results, but the roar was for Liu Xiaolin. On home ice, here he is in a repechage quarterfinal. There's Lucas McDonald of the Ice Kia, Mika Klevstuen of the Vikings, and then both of the Ice Spiders, Ficus and Sepal. And just they'll always be doing the repairs on the start-finish line after pretty much every 500 meters as everybody reaches and scratches for the line. They just dropped a healthy amount of water there to keep the integrity. And there is obviously the man to watch at home. Looking maybe just smile into the camera there, relaxed.
He and his brother are both very good in front of the camera. Say they want to be Chinese movie stars.
Go to the start. Ready.
And emerging first in the corner, it's Lucas McDonald. Now can he skate defensively and keep them off his back, but now it's a nice move by Radek Ficus to take the lead.
Long pivot there, that's no good for a top speed race. They're gonna need to keep crossing through the corner.
Now Liu plans his assault on the front, gets around 1, gets around 2 into the corner, and he makes it stick, and now can he hang on at the balance? Liu Xiaolin, 3 behind him. Is there enough time to make the move? Here comes Klevstuen up the inside, and can he make it dash? No, he's down, and it's Liu hanging on. Almost for Mika Klevstuen. Would have been a nice result for him to get up into second and maybe challenge for first, but the legs just came out from under him, I think.
We'll have to see if maybe the ice broke out. Yesterday we were seeing weak ice on the heat box side. Today we're seeing weak ice on the Zamboni side.
So Lou, you're the analyst, but I think he skated a patient race.
Yeah, and a good sign of that is if his hands are on his back. And I'll tell you, Shaolin is the most patient athlete I've seen since J.R. Selski. Yeah, it just looked like can't tell if his boot touched the ice or if maybe his shoulders twist, but it just didn't hold. See that gold on Shaolin's skates? That means he is a world champion.
So a 42.069 is Ficus's time. He will not be moving on as one of the second fastest skaters. It's still the top 2 heats right now with the fastest second place times. So just the 1 Q next to Liu Shaolin's name. And next heat already out on the ice. Dan Kos, side Zaksabayev, Wara Nuahon, Rostislav Leontenko, and Maxim Maximov.
Go to the start. Ready.
And Kos really comfortably through with a gap off the opening few strides into the corner.
And Kos has a really pretty start. He's very technical, he's very low, he's very powerful as he skates.
He is in front. He was a member of the Dutch relay team yesterday that for a quarterfinal went out really quickly. I actually saw him after. Was that the plan? And he said, yeah, we just wanted to work on kind of getting up to speed. I guess in the race setting, they wanted to test it out. They won by a country mile anyway, and he's well in front right now. It is Dan Kos and Mircea Zaksabayev trying to chase him down or trying to hold on for one of those second fastest times. Wire to wire, Dan Kos, and the reach. The seeding, ever more important than those.
Dan Kos telling me as well, he's really proud of his racing yesterday, had some new personal bests. And, you know, there's a lot of highs and lows as an athlete, so when you're proud of your results, it's a good day of racing.
One of the faster times we've seen. Unofficially, Mircea Zaksabayev's 41.42 would put him as the second of the 2 second-place skaters. So currently, at the moment, from all the way in Heat 1, Andrew Hyo holding off the heartbreak for the moment anyway.
Something we are seeing as these skaters come around the ice, and I'll point it out in the next race, we're seeing what's called a long pivot. That means that athletes are keeping their hand on the ice for a little longer than normal. I'm also seeing a lot of 2-foot pivots. That tells me that the ice is a little softer today. I'm actually seeing it on both sides, the heat box side and the Zamboni side. That's pretty normal. Over a long week of racing, the ice conditions do break down. We need those consistent resurface breaks to restore the integrity of the ice.
They are actually going to do it after the quarterfinals and then come right back out for the Repechage semifinals. You saw it Heat 5. We've already seen him today, not too long ago. Nico Anderman back alongside his teammate Tobias Wolf. Both of them were in the 1500 repechage. Now they're in the 500 meter repechage. So already warmed up, maybe a bit tired, but out of position 1. Park Jung-yuk of the White Tigers, Wara Van Dam also here from the Ice Bears, and Chalanchart Tapram of the Thai Elephants.
Go to the start. Ready.
Speedy start by the White Tigers. We see that wide track stepping through the corner. That's what builds him up to top speed. And here's that pivot. So that was a short pivot. That's what we want to see at a top speed race. And potentially he'll be able to control his skates around the track regardless of conditions of the ice.
Anderman, the man from Vienna, trying to close the gap. Gets into that slipstream, trying to, of course, even get maybe one of those second fastest times. It is Park off and away right now. Anderman in second. Those are really the only 2 to watch right now, as it's potentially the top 2 move on. And in the end, a reach at the line, and Park takes that one. That might have been the fastest one we've seen so far. Yes, it is a 41 even.
Introducing skaters for heat 6.
So watching Park here on that short pivot, it really should just be from block 4 to block, block 3 to block 5. A great stretch for the line.
And when you say the blocks, that's the lane markers. That's the corners there.
Correct.
So you count them off 1, 2, 3. Okay, makes sense to me.
There are seven blocks. So the fourth block being the apex block. That's when these athletes have the most force, the most G-forces on their legs. So that's when you need to be the most compact. And athletes are actually bracing up to 500 pounds on one foot. By the time you enter the corner at top speed and do a complete 180-degree change of direction, the amount of force put on these athletes is significant.
And so that was the fastest heat for a skater under 41 right now. The 41.171 for Anderman is now the faster of the second place times. And look who's back out. Lu Jianshuo, tough man going down in the 1500. He was advanced, and here he is in the 500 out of position 1. Marcus Howard of the Eagles, Asen Gurov of the Kings, Robin Bendig of the Wolves, Liam O'Brien of the Irish Wolfhounds.
Go to the start. Ready.
An upper body injury of some kind for Lou, whether it's shoulder or collarbone, but kudos to him for coming back out. He's already slipped to 4th. I hope he's feeling okay, but right now it's Marcus Howard off and away.
Tremendous start by Marcus Howard, going from 2nd on the line to 1st on the blocks. He looks comfortable. He is giving us a little more of an example of that longer pivot. You see how he's gliding on one foot from block 2 to block 5. There's a good pivot. He's getting his feet underneath him, feeling comfortable as we come around on the last lap.
At the bell, Howard with a gap. The race is really on for 2nd. Lou trying to take a look. He gets around 1. Can he get around 2? Can he make it stick? Lou does take it. It's Howard taking it. Lou goes to 2nd, a 41.80. Unofficially, that would not be enough for him to move on, but mountains of respect for that man right now after going down not too long ago and rallying late to finish 2nd here.
So Marcus Howard not only having the quicker step off the line, but immediately tracking in towards the 1st lane, cutting off Lou. Perfect strategy, perfect technique. Short pivot there, and that's what lets him take those 2 crossovers out of the corner. Quick shuffle and a deep trek. So you can see he's coming into the corner a little late on the entry. Again, good form.
That man off from the gun, from position 1 on the line to position 2 on the line to position 1 at the end.
Team USA having some of its best 500-meter results since 2014. JR and Chris Preveling topping the leaderboards as American athletes 10 years ago. Marcus Howard, Andrew Heo, Brandon Kim, so many up-and-coming rising stars in the American team, and finally bouncing them back from multiple quads of having a weaker men's side.
That last move was being investigated. Lu Jianshuo on, who was it there, on this right here, on Robin Bendig, pardon me, as a possible failure to give way. So there's always the question whose shoulders were in front. We do have a ruling here.
After review, we give penalty to skater number 90, Hong Kong, China, and advancement skater number 73, Germany.
There you go. So the penalty to Lu Jianshuo and Robin Bendig being advanced. That takes one of the 2nd place times off the table, and that means Andrew Heo does not move on. And now Nico Anderman very much on the bubble with only 1 2nd place open right now with 2 heats remaining. Here's a look at it again. You did mention it. He got in late there. Failure to give way.
And I don't see the shoulders completely even at that point, and so that does throw it right to the officials to decide how we want to make this call.
And there's the opening. It's not level. It says now it's up to their interpretation, and that is the ruling. And so 2 to go. This one, another interesting one. 2 Anatolian pars, 2 of the Wolves, and a lone ninja. Furkan Akar. And right there, he's joined by Murat Tachi, Jonas Hammermuller, Ben Jung, and here's the one ninja, Matsubayashi Yui.
Couple teammates giving high fives going into the race. Just wish, hey, good luck, brother. See you at the finish.
Go to the start. Ready.
Would there ever be a time where a guy sees his own teammate in front, and if he's in second, he might maybe try to hold up the rest, just skate his own race, but also holding up the rest maybe to give his teammate a bit of a chance there to pull away?
Yes, and again, that's not team skating, because even if it's skaters from 2 different countries, if I'm in second place and I'm confident that I can hold it, and the leader is maintaining a speed that I don't feel comfortable passing at, the best strategy is to become the defensive skater. That doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you're practicing smart tactics.
Is Furkan Akar. Down goes Tachi, I think on his own there, but Akar really made the breakthrough getting to the quarterfinals at the World Championships in Rotterdam. Can he come around to take it? It's going to be close, but yes, Akar does. And Ben Jung made it close. Not able to do it, and a 41.5 will not be enough even if they adjust. I don't think they'll knock a couple tenths of a second out of it, and so Akar, looking like we will see him again in the Repechage semifinals. And here's the incident right there. There's the lane marker on there, and they got under his blade.
And it's such a shame because it's just part of the sport. You're looking for inches here, and if you just go 1 inch too close to the blocks, they become a hazard.
There's not a lot you can do there. One more heat to go. There's the result, the car moving on, and it's another quick turnaround. They literally flood the ice and will be back out for the semifinals in the repechage for the 500 meters, and then we'll wrap up the morning session with the mixed team relay semis. There's the start list. Seungmin Kwon of the Eagles, Hayashi Kosei of the Ninjas, Stefan Alexander Kumurjev of the Kings, Toprak Efe Eroglu of the Anatolian Pars, and Niall Tracy of the Royals. Will start in position 1. Seungmin Kwon, ranked 83rd in this distance, 21 years old, originally born in Daejeon in Republic of Korea, now living on the East Coast in Maryland.
Go to the start.
America, that is.
Ready.
Something caught their eye there.
And this is a relatively new change in the rules, where in past Olympic cycles, you'd have to really have a significant bump or a fall to get the race called back. And now the officials are calling races back over stumbles, blade kicks, things like that. And to be honest with you, it's a short race. You need as good a start as possible to have a result that you want. So I think this is to the benefit of the athletes to have these chances to get a clean start.
I think we saw the blades of Hayashi and Kwon. So there's Kwon getting his blades looked at. You mentioned how they're not delicate, but they can get knocked out of shape.
Easily, really easily. So Coach Hong Yang Wang checking blades now. Occasionally, if you get a chunk of blade taken out, they can say, you're not allowed to race, that's a danger. Looks like there's a significant something going on here.
Entirely. Looks like the drill is coming out.
That's right. So Hong Yang Wang and Stephen Goff doing a pit stop for skater Seungmin Kwon.
It's like a garage's worth of tools in short track. Meanwhile, the fire extinguishers on the ice, they have the patching trowel and the bucket of ice as well. And so it's just like going to your garage and you can host your own short track speed skating event.
And so since it looks like they are changing the blade for Seungmin Kwon. And if you think about this at home, so an athlete has multiple sets of blades that they travel with, and every set already has their specific numbers. Coaches use what's called a gauge to put a rocker and a bend onto blades. However, when you change blades abruptly like this, you run the risk of now maybe his right blade is higher has more metal to it than the left blade. Maybe that new right blade is stiffer or not as stiff as the left blade. So even though the numbers match, the integrity of the metal does change from set to set.
So now the big change. We're taking a few minutes here. All the skaters, you mentioned the changes to getting that start right now. If it happens a few times, you wonder if it starts to get into their head a little bit.
No, that's no, absolutely not. And you saw Al Grefsheim there giving the hand sign, hey, speed it up. One of the American officials. An athlete's job here is to take a deep breath. He is within his rights to sit on the pads, to do an equipment check. He's not doing anything wrong. The worst thing he can do is start to stress.
So we'll see if take two. Everybody jumps off well. Whistle back. We are good to go. And then after this, it's another quick break as we get ready for the Repechage semifinals and the mixed team relay semifinals.
Go to the start. Ready.
And it's through everybody this time. No, they're not.
You know it's impressive though, and of course we had a fall, but Seungmin Kwon sure didn't look like he had a new blade on. He looked like a quick, powerful start there.
He was off like a rocket because Hayashi was next to him close on the first time. This time Hayashi drifted all the way back. Not a fantastic start for them, and then you have everybody piling in and down, and so 3 skaters are now going to have their blades looked at, I think.
Yep, that's right. And you know, a friendly piece of advice I remember being given as an athlete during a blade change. A teammate of mine sat me down. I was real nervous, and blades are messed up on these new ones. What I'm going to do? And he said, "Hey, before they were your backups, they used to be your favorites." And it was just a nice little perspective shift to go from, oh my gosh, what am I going to do, to, hey, at one point this was my most trusted piece of equipment, because that's typical. The backup blades are usually your old favorites. As they get older, you retire them a little early so that you can really trust the backups that your coaches have in case of this situation.
Look inside one of the kits there. I hear another drill, so maybe another full change going on right now.
To be honest, it's better safe than sorry. When the bend, the rocker doesn't get messed up on a click or a toe in like that, but the bend can get messed up. And when the bend is messed up, you can't turn as efficiently. These athletes, everyone knows the exact numbers they like and the exact position on the blade where they want each number. One number on a gauge is actually thinner than the width of a piece of hair. But that being said, these athletes are so advanced, they can feel 2 or 3 numbers off. Maybe the best of best could feel all the way down to 1 number off, but a click and a blade off the start can throw your numbers off by 5 or more. So it is significant in how their equipment is impacted during the race.
Look at the high-tech equipment out there, the fire extinguisher. Now we have a watering can full of water being dumped on the ice as well. So it looks like 1 skater's down. It looks like Kumurjev is good to go. Now just waiting on Eroglu and Tracy, and Tracy's off. And we'll see if 3rd time is the charm.
And again, it's the athlete's job to stay calm here. It's very normal when you have pauses in the race like this to get anxious, to get nervous. These guys are taking some deep breaths. They're visualizing their perfect race. They're shifting their weight toe to heel to find the sweet spot, so they are already ready for it when they get to top speed.
So Hayashi was quick off the line in start number 1, not so much in start number 2. We'll see if he has a chance at redemption there. Everybody, all 5 lining up, but it's 5 guys piling into that first corner.
Go to the start. Ready.
And once again, Kwon quick off the line.
Yeah, great start, looking comfortable. Putting his blinders on like we talked, but you see a little bobble there. So that right skate, it's not quite what he was used to before the equipment got changed out.
Showing not too many ill effects though. Kumurjev, Tracy battling for second. Tracy's closing up. But right now, it is Seungmin Kwon well out in front. Tracy makes the move for second, but he only has a lap to try to close down the lead. Seungmin Kwon well in front, the USA Eagle. Looks like he is going to not quite cruise, but he's going to take well with a comfortable win over the line. Tracy will cross with a 41.35. That's actually one of the quicker repechage heats we've had, if not the quickest. Kwon with the fastest time. 41.35 would not be enough for Niall Tracy to move on.
So we're watching Niall Tracy enter the corner wide so that he can come out tight. That's probably the most common track pattern in the sport. He does it perfectly because he doesn't lose any speed going into the next corner. Here's someone putting 2 feet down, Kwon putting 2 feet down on the ice, showing you a little discomfort on that right blade, but still winning the race.
Going well enough in front that the ability took over.
And that's why these athletes train like they do. Truly, if you're thinking too much at this point, that's a problem. Everyone's racing, reacting on muscle memory and on instinct when it's this fast and you're under this type of pressure.
Now he's getting off the ice quickly. He's the only qualifier. So with Robin Bendig being advanced, Nico Anderman, the only second place finisher, moving on. A list of all the people moving on. Repechage quarterfinals become Repechage semifinals. Remember those names on your screen because they're going to be back in a few moments. We will flood the ice. I think since there was a delay, wait for just the actual graphic to pop up on the start time at 12:18 local time. So just under 15 minutes from now, we will be back with you to wrap up the repechage session from day one in Beijing. Men's 500-meter repechage, and then the mixed team relay semifinals.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to remind you to take your seat according to your ticket information.
各位观众朋友们，我们温馨提示您，请您按照票面信息对号入座。
Please refrain from walking around or standing for a long time during the game.
观赛期间，请不要随意走动或长时间站立，以免影响他人观赛。
Please do not use flash photography.
在比赛进行中，请不要使用闪光灯拍照。
Please remain quiet when the athletes are about to start and adjust your phone to silent or vibrate mode.
当运动员准备出发时，请保持安静，并将手机调整至静音或震动状态。
Please do not litter and properly dispose of your trash. Keep the venue clean by separating your trash.
请大家不要乱丢垃圾，做好垃圾分类投放，保持场馆内的整洁。
Please do not smoke in the venue. Thank you for your cooperation.
请勿在场馆内吸烟，做文明观众。再次感谢大家的配合。
Ladies and gentlemen, the upcoming race is men's 500 meters rep semifinal. 女士们、先生们，即将进
Now
行的
this is going to be something else. It's only a repechage semifinal. I say only a repechage semifinal, but already some very strong skaters. 2 heats, 5 skaters in each. The first place skaters from each race qualifies. There's a look at the first heat. Park Jung-yuk, Nico Underman, Martin Kolench, Furkan Akar, and Abzal Ajgaliev. Then in a 500-meter race, Catherine, where only the top skater moves on, never mind that there's 5 skaters on the ice, it can get a wee bit hectic, I'd imagine.
That's an understatement, I would say. And so as we start to get closer and closer to the final rounds, yes, not only does it get a little hectic, but it gets the pressure builds. And what happens then is, you know, again, nobody's ever making it mistakes on purpose, but when you're under pressure to perform, you start thinking, I can do that.
The openings might seem a bit bigger than that they actually are.
Yeah, and I fully understand this as an athlete because, you know, in your head you're thinking, what do I do? Do I not try? Well, that's not an option. I'm going to try. But sometimes you try and then you realize a little too late, like, ugh, I probably should have done that.
And there is a look at Furkan Akar. Well, now it's Nico Anderman. And from Vienna, there's also Park Jung-yuk, Martin Kolench, he of Never Say Die fame, and Abzal Ajgaliev. This one is certainly difficult to break down.
Go to the start. Ready.
Everybody survived through the first corner. Yes, they do. It's Park Jung-yuk out in front. Underman watching him, but you might notice sometimes at the back, you're talking about the guy at the back has a chance to really wind things up, and it looks like that's what Ajgaliev is trying.
Yes, and it's always a 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Do I step out wide and go my speed, or do I cut in tight and try to make a pass? Both options are good. It's best to keep all options on the table. Furkan
Akar goes from 4th to 3rd to 2nd. A lap to go. It is Kim. Park Jung-yuk still out in front. Akar running out of time. He goes wide there. Is it opening up an opportunity? Here comes Akar, but it's going to be Park taking it, I believe. Indeed, that is what's on the line. Nothing is getting reviewed. And so good effort from Furkan Akar, 22-year-old.
Nice clean start here. Everyone's spacing out appropriately, purely based on their lane position on the ice. Couple changing track patterns here. So Furkan Akar coming up the inside, sneaking into second. Great work by the Anatolian par.
Just not able to get it at the line. Park does enough. That much was the difference at the line. And so the second heat, there is confirmation. Park will be into the quarterfinals for the 500 meters. That goes this afternoon. And just one place advancing. Second heat, certainly one to watch. Seungmin Kwon, who had the fastest time in the men's 500-meter repechage quarters. Dan Koss also had a very confident win. And then there's Liu Shaolin to watch for. Marcus Howard is here, who also had a very confident race going away. And then Robin Bendig of the Wolves. And so pick your spot. There's going to be something to watch, really. There is Liu, certainly wanting to get the hometown fans going.
In Shaolin, you can imagine he is craving a good result, especially here on home ice. He had a challenging intro to the World Tour season in Montreal, which is very typical for the Asian countries.
To the start.
To try to train through that first World Tour stop. They're trying to peak here.
Ready.
And the mad dash. It's Seungmin Kwon out in front. Now the work begins.
And I'd like to see Seungmin Kwon swinging an arm. He's very comfortable here in the lead, but we still have 3 laps to go. I want to see him swinging an arm and picking up the pace.
Koss had some space behind and in front. He makes that pass stick up the inside. That opened the door also for Liu to make the move. It's Koss at the moment, and then it's Liu and the Eagles. At the bell, Dan Koss still leading the way. Liu ready to pounce. He's taking a look. Koss has to skate defensively. Dan Koss going to bring it to the line, and he takes it. Does not look like there is going to be a review there at all. I don't see anything up. That was, he did have that move on Kwon, but it seems to be he got through just in the nick of time heading into the corner.
So here we see the start. Everyone kind of squeezing in towards that lane one. Seungmin Kwon, remember, he just changed his blades. Here's a pass from Dan Koss. Shoulders, he does pull ahead right towards the end, but then Kwon doesn't get any crossovers going into the corner. That will kill your speed. Now he's trying to make up for that by skating tight, and he just can't keep everyone from engulfing him as he drops back to fourth.
So it looks like Dan Koss, yes, the big Q is next to his name. And so he will be the other to move on to the quarterfinals in the 500 meters this afternoon. And you hear the big cheer, the big cheer, not the big chair, the big cheer is for the Chinese Lungs mixed relay team. They are heat number 1 of 2 in the final 2 races of our program, the 2,000 meter mixed relay. And the results up there, so Dan Koss, nice result from him. Makes the move and hangs on as Liu Shaolin was bearing down on him. And so, we get right into it here. Not a bad way to end a repechage session. It has the Canadian Ice Maples, who, oh yeah, they set a world record yesterday. The Chinese Lungs, the USA Eagles, and the Ukrainian Wildcats. And the first and second place teams from each qualify for the A final. Third and fourth will race for the B final. As I was saying, the A final, the race for the medals. The B final, the race for the points. Canada's team, the Canadian team, Florence Brunel, Kim Boutin in there today. There is also Félix Roussel and Jordan Pierre-Gilles. No, it is Stephen Dubois in there. They made a late change there, so a few changes to that Canadian side with Boutin and Roussel in. It's 2.5 laps for everybody and then 2 laps for everybody. The Eagles have Kristen Santos Griswold in there right now. And on the ice for the Lungs is Gong Li as Santos Griswold makes the move up the inside into second.
A really smooth move, and she's going to do it again, all the way up to first.
And into the lead, and Brunel can't hang on. She slips to third in the course of a lap. Now they have to rally. The Ice Maples picked up 2 medals on home ice. That's in danger right now. Inside 13 laps to go. It is Clayton DiClemente for the USA Eagles. And it's Andrew Hyo back out on the ice, suffered some disappointment earlier, and would love to end this session on a high. And on the exchange, it is the Lungs taking the lead.
And it is really important to be efficient on those exchanges. Relays are won and lost in the exchanges. When you can do a quick push like that and force a pass, that's excellent. You can also do a defensive move from the front, but only if your timing's right.
That was just Liu Shaoang for the Lungs. It should be noted, the Lungs do not have Lin Xiaojun this weekend. He wasn't on the roster to skate. That's why you might not have seen him yet if you watch the qualifiers. It is the Lungs in front. Corin Stoddart making the move on the inside to take the lead.
And a great reaction by Kristen Santos, not missing a beat, moving up into first.
Oh, and the Canadians are down. Sorry to interrupt you there. On her own, Florence Brunel went down, and there was nobody there to tag up with her for the Canadians.
Oh, that is a missed tag, and I see what happened there. They missed the timing just barely by a couple of meters.
And it is Clayton DiClemente. It looks like these 2 teams will go for the medals, and so the streak is snapped from the looks of things for the Ice Maples. They get a tag with Boutin there, but it is far too late. The fans cheer as the Lungs take the lead, and it is Lin Xiaoang in to finish things off. Andrew Hyo is going to make it close, but these 2 sides just need to stay up, and they will be into the A final this afternoon, and Liu Xiaoang will take the race. And Hyo will get over for the USA Eagles. I don't think anything will be reviewed. Both of those sides looking like they will skate for the medals this afternoon.
Nice to see the Chinese longs getting up to the front and having a good result here. They are very strong in the mixed relay.
What is interesting, especially with the Team Crystal Globe standings, is that the Canadians do have the disappointment here as Steven Dubois just crosses the line now. But the B final does mean something, and there is the points, and they're multiplied by 3 for that Team Crystal Globe standings.
And let's remember, they broke the world record yesterday. And so something, you know, when I'm an athlete, I'm thinking about it like this. Nobody really remembers the medalists from every single stop on the World Tour, but my name gets put on the top of every race list as the world record holder until someone breaks it. So, of course, everyone wants to get the medal. That is why they're here. That's why we race. But the world record, that's something that stays with you even after this World Tour has finished.
So there is something to still hang their hat on anyway once we move on. Of course, you never know. Maybe that world record goes away in the next race. Of course, oh yeah, we should read that next time. It's 2:35.427, in case you were wondering. So we'll be watching for that now over the course of the weekend. The 4 other teams in the semis out on the ice, the Dutch Lions, the Italian Gladiators, the Korean White Tigers, and the Polish Hussars. And so 2:36.854, so about 1.4 seconds off of that world record set yesterday. And there you have it. The Lungs and the Eagles go to the A final. The other 2 will race in the B final. Heat number 2. The Lions, as I mentioned, the Gladiators, the White Tigers, and the Hussars. And of course, the 2 Velzebor sisters on the ice. And today they are starting with Sandra. Yesterday they started with Michelle. So a change there. Gloria Ioriatti for the Gladiators. Shim Suk-hee for the White Tigers, and Nicola Mazur for the Hussars.
Ready.
I always like to joke when you see Shim on the start line. You can almost say, is Shim Suk-hee in this race? She has her hand in the air as if to say, yes I am, here I am. And as you'd expect, it is Sandra Velzebor off to her trademark rocket start.
Pulling a gap already, and that's what you need to do. It's safe to get out front and to avoid even an opportunity for a team to challenge.
And it's the exchange cleanly through. Her sister has given a nice big cushion. On the ice is Ariana Siegel for the Gladiators.
And we're coming up on our first push from female to male athlete. And so this is where there typically is some speed loss, just the difference in size between a female to male athlete. Pushing as hard as she can, Velzebor, and
White Tiger, there was a stumble, but they still moved up into second. Should be noted, both the Crystal Globe helmets are on the ice, Park Ji-won and Kim Gi-lee, but at the moment, it is the Dutch Lions, Toon Boer out in front. He will have Jens van het Wout there waiting for him, and the White Tigers have really closed up. And here's Park Ji-won and Jens van het Wout going toe-to-toe, but look out behind him. Siegel and Nowinski, a whole lot of power on the ice.
And the Dutch team actually getting back to pulling that gap off of the exchange between Boer and Van het Wout.
Is Van het Wout, you see, they are doing the Velzebor switch. It is Michel, no, and he's down. Wow. Jens van het Wout down on his own. He was just about to tag up to Michel Velzebor. Here's Sandra coming around to tag up.
He spun like a top.
Again, physics, it'll do that to you. Shim Suk-hee, Gloria Ioriatti, and now it is Ariana Siegel and Kim Gi-lee on the front. And I was just saying, the Velzebors had switched. It was Sandra on the start, Michelle was going to take over, but it all just went pear-shaped there in the end.
Still seeing some space in the pack. It doesn't mean that a gap couldn't be closed in an instant.
And so it is Kim Tae-sung on the front right now. There's the gun. One more exchange allowed. The Gladiators have Thomas Natalini in. It's DNA Cillier for the Hussars. And now the closers. Park Ji-won, Pietro Siegel, and down he goes. And Nowinski, oh my, that was close. Park Ji-won out in front, away from the danger. Nivinsky, it might have been a matter of a few centimeters, but a pump of the fist. He knows what that means to get through Park Ji-won. Heartbreak for the Gladiators. Siegel, he just couldn't hold it coming out of the corner, and I think he was really pushing to close. But who got third there? I mean, it's the Gladiators and the Lions who will go for the B final. I don't think anything's getting reviewed, but my, that was the semis.
That was the semis, and I have to wonder, oh my, looking out here at the Polish Hussar, I wonder if something's going on with her equipment there. Her transponder doesn't
it was hanging off her ankle there.
To be Velcroed shut.
Here's the first exchange over to the male skaters, and there was the wobble by the White Tigers. Stays up and gets into second.
And still finishes the pass. Great compression through the corner. That's a 2-foot pivot, so we're seeing that spin like a top. He's trying to twist his shoulders around, but his hips aren't playing along, and there's that spin on the exit.
This was the exchange. Is this the final exchange? Siegel going around the corner. I'm not sure if this is when he hit it, but Park Ji-won out in front.
Leaning too hard through the shoulders on the corner entry there.
There he goes.
And that will happen when you separate your shoulders from your hips. You have the ability to increase your lean, but the lack of stability and putting pressure down through the skates.
And so in Montreal, the Korean White Tigers just picked up a mixed team relay silver. They were off the podium in the second race. And as we're looking for the Team Crystal Globe standings, a shakeup could be coming with the Ice Maples going to the B final and the White Tigers going on to the A final. And you look at the Dutch Lions as well, gold and silver in Montreal, now going to the B final. And so, whew. That's all we can say. There you have it, 236.926, a little bit slower than the first heat, but just by a hair. And what a way to end the repechage session. Your thoughts?
Wow, we had such a great morning of racing, and then we kind of finished on our butts there, didn't we?
Well, some teams did anyway.
Some of them, yeah.
Well, we were both.
Well, I've been on my butt all morning, but.
Yeah, that's the name of the game, though. It ends with when they end on their bump safely, we can say, well, that was certainly an exciting moment, so long as everybody's safe. Anyway, and so there is the main session start time. That concludes the morning repechage session. The World Tour coming up in that's a little bit of time, isn't it? So we are currently, an hour and a half or so away. If you are watching online, check out for the YouTube link on the ISU YouTube channel. So we'll sign things off for now from the Capitol Indoor Stadium. That was quite the repechage session that only gets us ready for the medal races to come. So Catherine Adamek, Reuter Adamek, on behalf of her and the entire crew from here in Beijing and everywhere putting it together, my name is Gavin Day. Talk to you in a bit. Goodbye.